All right, let's start the screening of Maddie's cheating scene.
After watching this, there's no way you can make excuses.
I haven't cheated. Stop doing something so ridiculous.
Mom caught you on a hidden camera. You're freaking out now, huh?
That's not true.
Well, let's see what's on the tape, shall we?
Even you, Dad, what are you saying?
Let's see how a former nightclub waitress like you seduces men. This should be interesting.
My name is Maddie. I'm a 28-year-old office worker. I married Ken 3 years ago. After the wedding, we moved in with Ken's parents.
Let's save money for a house by staying at my parents' place for a while.
Are you sure living with your parents will help us save? We'll still need to give them money for living expenses.
Ken's parents had asked us to contribute to the household expenses when we moved in.
That's common sense. Just pay your share of the living costs. I don't need to pay since it's my parents' house.
So I have to spend more than you?
Yeah, but I'll be the one saving for us. Plus, you've got some savings from when you worked at the nightclub, right? We'll make it work.
That was only when I was struggling to pay for school. Now, I'm just a regular office worker, and I barely have any savings.
Oh, Maddie, you were so cute back then.
Ken, you're not still going to nightclubs, right?
No, I'm not. You're the only one for me now.
Before we got married, I had worked at a nightclub for a short time. A friend had convinced me to do it for a brief period. Sure, the pay was good, and I think it was a valuable experience. Now, I've found a job I want to do, and I'm working at a company. However, society often judges women with a background in nightlife jobs harshly. Ken's mom was especially prejudiced in this regard. Living with my in-laws meant frequent clashes with my overly critical mother-in-law.
Maddie, that skirt is too short. What are you planning to do at work dressed like that?
There she goes again. I suppressed my irritation and responded.
It's not too short. It's normal. Mom, please stop holding me up about my outfit every time before work.
Oh, I'm just worried about where you're going to work. I can't help but think you might start working at a nightclub again.
That's not going to happen. I'm fulfilled at my current job. Oh, I'm running late. I'm off.
My mother-in-law often made derogatory comments about me because I had previously worked at a nightclub.
Mom's snide remarks are getting worse. Ken, it's your fault for telling her I used to work at a nightclub. Tell her to stop picking on me.
Picking on you? That's a bit dramatic. Anyway, I'm going on a concert trip with my friends tomorrow.
If you have money to spend on trips, you should be saving. Don't you remember why we moved here?
Come on, it's my salary. I can do whatever I want with it.
Even though I was the one paying for our living expenses, Ken spent his money on leisure activities. Gradually, the love between us faded. On top of that, my mother-in-law's demands for money became more and more intense.
Maddie, we need a new fridge, so give me $1,000.
$1,000? That's not exactly easy to come by. And the fridge isn't even broken.
It's because you two moved in that the fridge is always full, and the electric bill has gone up. We need an energy-saving one.
Then, another time.
Mom, have you seen my bag?
Oh, that flashy designer bag. It was so tacky. I sold it at the thrift store.
That's terrible. How could you just do that without asking me? That was mine. You had no right to sell it. It's practically stealing.
Stealing? What are you saying, as the daughter-in-law? I've put up with your tacky taste ever since you left the nightclub. As a wife, you should be fine with a reusable bag. You don't need designer stuff.
My mother-in-law's bullying escalated day by day. Ken never took my side. His father was a workaholic, indifferent to anything happening at home. I regretted moving in with them more and more. I used my car to commute to work. Sometimes, on the way home, I would give my boss, who lived nearby, a ride. He was 5 years older than me, strict about work but also calm and friendly. He often listened to my work-related worries and was someone I could rely on. However, somehow, my mother-in-law found out that I was giving him rides and confronted me with absurd accusations.
I saw you in the car with a man. It's just like someone who used to work at a nightclub. You can't stop chasing men.
Chasing men? What are you talking about? He's a coworker, and there's nothing inappropriate about it.
Stop making such pathetic excuses. You're a terrible woman for betraying my son.
Her fussing made Ken start doubting me as well.
Hey, is what Mom said true? Are you cheating?
Of course not. How could you even think that, Ken?
It was shocking to be suspected of cheating by him as well.
If you're gonna cheat, maybe I should too.
Ken said, grinning.
Are you serious? Ken, do you really think I'm cheating?
If you weren't cheating, you wouldn't be so defensive.
That's awful.
My love for Ken had completely disappeared by then. From that point on, I refused all of my mother-in-law's demands unless it was for basic living expenses.
I need $500 for a neighborhood association event.
I'm not part of the neighborhood association, so I won't be giving any money.
I won't allow that. Hand over the money now.
I don't need your permission. I'm not giving money for something without knowing what it's for.
Do you even know your place? I could kick you out of this house if I wanted.
If you want me gone, I'll leave. That's fine by me.
You insolent brat. I'll make you regret this.
As I watched my mother-in-law storm off, I muttered to myself.
What is she even spending all that money on?
Lately, her lifestyle has become increasingly flashy, with her makeup and clothes making her look unnaturally younger. The money she kept demanding from me was likely being used for her luxury purchases. I had also discovered that she received plenty of living expenses from my well-paid father-in-law after we moved in. In other words, all the money I gave her was being spent on her personal indulgences. It was clear that she wanted me around solely as a cash cow. She treated me like an ATM, while Ken spent most of his time going out and didn't seem to be saving any money. I wondered how long this miserable life would go on, feeling more depressed by the day. Sometime later, I started working afternoon shifts on weekends. One morning, I found that my mother-in-law had taken my car, filled it with gas, and even washed it.
Working on your day off, huh? Take care.
Her tone was unsettling. I was sure she was up to something. With an eerie smile, she saw me off to work. When I returned in the evening, my mother-in-law had gone to the salon and wasn't home. Ken had taken my car to go out with his friends. I prepared dinner for my father-in-law and ate with him.
How are things going with Mom lately?
What do you mean?
Never mind, it's nothing.
Hey, Maddie, could you turn on the TV? Yeah, there we go.
He focused entirely on the baseball game, completely uninterested in my question. He was a nice guy, but it was clear he had no idea his family was falling apart. I sighed. The next day, I had the morning off, so I slept in. Both Ken and my mother-in-law had stayed out late the previous night, so the house was quiet while they slept in. By early afternoon, my mother-in-law came downstairs, turned on her laptop, and began doing something. Ken sat on the couch next to her, whispering and laughing together. I had a bad feeling.
Maddie, do you know what this is?
It looks like a video camera.
Correct. Now, guess what's on it?
I have no idea.
Let me just connect it here. Now, look at the laptop screen. Hey, honey, come sit down and watch it with us.
My father-in-law, looking puzzled, sat down on the couch as my mother-in-law urged him. She then proudly announced to all of us,
All right, let's begin the screening of Maddie's cheating scene.
What?
After watching this, there's no way you can make excuses anymore.
I haven't cheated. Stop this ridiculous behavior.
Mom caught you on hidden camera. Look how flustered you are.
That's not true.
Well, let's all see what's on the tape, shall we?
Even you, Dad? What are you saying?
Let's see how a former nightclub waitress like you seduces men. Show us.
I had nothing to hide. My mother-in-law, with a triumphant expression, started playing the video, but, as expected, there was nothing unusual. The footage simply showed me driving, continuing on uneventfully.
Is that Maddie? Looks like she's just driving. You're always a safe driver, huh?
My father-in-law said, looking a bit bored. Panicking, my mother-in-law fast-forwarded the video.
Where's that shameful outfit I saw? It was definitely there.
As she continued operating the computer, the next scene appeared, a woman in a compromising position, wrapped in a man's arms. With satisfaction, my mother-in-law began narrating.
Look, everyone, this is the real her. Just look at her, completely indecent.
My father-in-law shouted in anger.
Is this really Maddie? What is this?
How could you betray us? I'll never forgive you. Get out, you cheating woman.
I was stunned. Suddenly, Ken let out a strange noise. At that moment, the man who had been leaning over the woman in the video lifted his face. It was my husband, Ken.
What?
Ken?
Who is this woman?
Wait, turn off the video.
It was a disgusting scene of Ken and his mistress in my car, caught on camera. The video had been recorded after I came home from work the night before, when Ken had gone to meet this woman. My mother-in-law had only watched part of the footage from the hidden camera she set up and mistakenly assumed that the woman in the video was me.
Ken, you worthless scoundrel.
Ken. This woman, isn't that Rachel, who used to work with me at the nightclub?
I gasped as I recognized the woman in the video, her hair disheveled from the affair. Yes, she had been friendly with Ken in the past, but I never imagined they had continued this sordid relationship even after we got married. As Ken sat hunched over in silence, my mother-in-law spoke.
Ken, clearly this is Maddie's fault. With her scrawny, pitiful body, of course you'd be drawn to other women.
At her unbelievable comment, I snapped. I reached into my bag and pulled out another video camera.
Do you know what's on this video, everyone?
Startled by my sudden move, my mother-in-law, Ken, and my father-in-law stared at me in disbelief. I disconnected her video from the laptop and plugged in mine.
This video shows footage from every night you went to the salon, Mom. Shall we watch what happened in my car during those nights?
Yes, I knew exactly what had been going on. I had long suspected why my mother-in-law had been acting so strangely, spending lavishly, and trying to look younger. Therefore, on the days I thought she might borrow my car, I installed a hidden camera in it.
All right. Let's begin the screening of your affair, Mom.
Eek. Stop.
The video started playing, showing my mother-in-law clinging to a much younger man, stripping his clothes off like he was a stud. She was screaming vulgar words like,
Oh, you're so cute. You're the best.
Mom,
What on earth is this? You shameless woman.
No, honey, this is just a big misunderstanding.
Mom, it's you who's getting kicked out, not me.
This is how my bitter marriage came to an end. Afterward, Ken and I divorced. I also had a conversation with his mistress, Rachel. Ken had apparently told her.
Maddie's cheating too, so it's only fair.
Ken said he had proof of your affair. He was making things up.
Rachel, even if that were true, you still had an affair with a married man. You'll pay for that.
I didn't like how you quit nightlife work and moved to a normal job. Too bad the man you married ended up cheating on you.
I demanded a lump sum payment from her as compensation for the affair. As for my mother-in-law, she had been repeatedly cheating through dating apps. Once she realized she could get money from me, she plunged deeper into her addiction. Eventually, my father-in-law filed for divorce, kicking both her and Ken out of the house. They ended up moving into Rachel's apartment.
Why do I have to take care of this old hag too?
Old hag. That's so mean.
We've got nowhere else to go. Besides, it's because our affair got exposed that we're in this mess. The three of us need to stick together.
Why does she have to stick with us?
Soon enough, Rachel realized it was my mother-in-law's fault that I had found out about their affair, so she started treating her even worse. My mother-in-law now calls my father-in-law daily, crying about Rachel. I still visit my father-in-law from time to time, so I hear updates about them. Ken, trying to pay off the compensation and his debts, is now working multiple jobs, day and night. As for my mother-in-law, she managed to get a job as a cleaner at the nightclub where Rachel works. The irony of her ending up working at a nightclub after all the insults she threw at me is undeniable. Even after the divorce, I've continued working at my current job. Having overcome the painful experience of divorce, I now focus entirely on my career. That hard work has paid off, and I've recently been promoted to supervisor. I'm grateful to my boss for supporting me through it all. Recently, he even invited me out for a private dinner. I'm not exactly eager to jump back into dating, but I realize that clinging to the past won't help me move forward. Maybe one date wouldn't be so bad? That's what I've been thinking lately.